For generations, astronomers told the world that the dark gap separating our galaxy from Andromeda was nothing more than 2 million light-years of pure, empty space where matter simply cannot survive. But when you look at the raw infrared data stream pushed out by the James Webb Space Telescope late last night, that whole clean story shatters into pieces instantly. The telescope did not find a quiet desert out there. It caught billions of wild rogue stars floating freely in the pitch black, forming an invisible bridge of light and high-energy gas that reaches all the way to our doorstep. That means the boundary line protecting our solar system is not an empty sky, and you are living under a cosmic highway that mainstream science pretended was completely dead. You sit down at your desk, pulling up the raw spectrographic sheets on your screen, and your breath catches in your throat as the numbers line up. These orphan stars are not just lost rocks drifting randomly through the dark. They are kicking out massive rivers of charged plasma that hit the outer edges of our sun's magnetic field every single hour. You wonder why every official media release glossed over this massive stellar population, hiding the true density of the space between us behind confusing technical jargon. The truth is simple and ugly. If astronomers admitted that billions of stars are already grinding through that gap, they would have to admit our entire galactic environment is shifting right now. Think about what happens when you step outside tonight and look up at what looks like a quiet, black night sky above your house. You think you are looking into an empty abyss, but you are actually staring right into a dense wall of rogue suns that were kicked out of their home galaxies during ancient cosmic collisions. As you read through the private notes from orbital tracking stations, you see that low-frequency radio arrays on Earth have been picking up strange energy spikes whenever they point directly at that gap. The ground beneath your feet is reacting to an ocean of hidden radiation that science textbooks claimed would never touch us in our lifetime. Why did research teams slap restricted clearance markers on these deep space sensor logs if there was nothing out there to worry about? You dig out an archived file from a high-altitude observatory showing that atomic clocks and deep-sea fiber cables suffered weird timing glitches during recent alignment phases with Andromeda. The reports prove that as these stray stars push their plasma clouds against our galaxy, they push high-energy cosmic rays straight down through our planet's atmosphere. You lean back, wiping sweat from your forehead, as you realize that those unexplained signal drops on your phone might actually be the physical footprint of two giant stellar systems locking horns overhead. We were always taught to think of galaxies like clean, isolated cities floating in a sea of nothingness where no bridges exist. But these raw infrared images prove that space is packed with giant, invisible gas channels that feed energy back and forth between us and Andromeda through these lone stars. When you map out the positions of these orphan suns, you see a clear path of matter stretching across the void, pulling our entire solar system off its expected trajectory faster than anyone calculated. You start to understand that our blue planet is not sitting in a safe, quiet room. We are floating right through the middle of an active cosmic intersection. If you check the secret records from radio dishes built back in the 90s, you discover that older space researchers already knew this gap was far from empty. They set up giant receiver dishes in remote deserts specifically to listen for signals bouncing off these hidden stellar streams floating out in the dark. You are looking at a multi-decade paper trail showing that people in power knew our galaxy was touching Andromeda's outer stellar remnants long before the James Webb Telescope was ever launched. They kept the discovery locked away in research vaults simply because there is zero way for human engineering to shield a planet from an intergalactic shockwave. This is the exact moment where your mind completely turns upside down because you realize a galactic overlap does not wait for a dramatic crash millions of years from now. It looks like a slow, heavy wave of rogue stars and hot gas quietly washing over our stellar neighborhood over thousands of years. Every strange magnetic fluctuation, every satellite orientation adjustment, and every spike in high-altitude radiation maps back to this massive stellar bridge. You sit there in the cold, dark room, realizing that humanity is not waiting for a space event in the far future. We are swimming in the middle of it right now. If you are following this direct, no-nonsense breakdown of what is really floating above our heads, take a second to hit that subscribe button right now and drop your thoughts in the comments. Your direct support is the only thing that lets us keep pulling real research records and bringing you plain truth without all the academic sugarcoating. As you keep scrolling through the rest of the leaked dataset, the physical evidence gets even heavier and impossible to brush off as a glitch. What if the sudden rise in deep space particle counts striking Earth's upper atmosphere is not just random cosmic luck, but the direct pressure of billions of rogue stars moving toward us? You look at the energy spectrum logs from underground particle detectors, and the baseline readings have been climbing steadily upward for more than 10 straight years. That means the ocean of space around our sun is getting denser, thicker, and far more reactive than any textbook ever warned you about. The brutal reality you take away from these unredacted files is that our solar system is far more connected to the deep universe than mainstream institutions want to admit. You can never look up at the dark horizon again and think of space as a peaceful, empty canvas sitting still behind the clouds. It is a living, moving arena filled with runaway suns, magnetic filaments, and crushing gravitational forces that operate without caring about human civilization. When you step outside into the night air after learning this truth, the quiet sky above you feels totally different because you finally know what is hiding in the dark. You shut off your desk lamp, sitting in the dark room while your brain tries to process the sheer scale of what you just uncovered. For generations, people believed that stars stayed neatly inside their own galactic boundaries like lights fixed to a ceiling. Now you hold the hard observational data showing that the space between galaxies is crawling with runaway suns that alter the gravitational grid of everything near them. You take a slow, deep breath, knowing that your understanding of the universe outside your window has been fundamentally changed forever. The chemical breakdown logs attached to the telescope data show that these rogue stars are spewing heavy elements directly into the intergalactic gas clouds around them. That means the void between us and Andromeda is actively forging new physical matter that slowly trickles down into the outer rims of both galaxies. Astronomers using high-powered infrared arrays are scrambling behind closed doors to track where these heavy gas streams are flowing next. It is a terrifying and incredible look at how raw cosmic forces rebuild the space around us while we go about our normal lives down here on Earth. Think about how wild it is that our entire global technology network relies on satellites orbiting in a zone that is constantly hit by particle streams from these rogue stars. If these stellar remnants keep pushing high-energy plasma into our solar system's protective bubble, satellite navigation and power grids will face constant operational stress. That is why space agencies are quietly writing new protective algorithms for orbital hardware without ever explaining the true deep space cause to the public. They are fighting a silent battle against forces originating from the deep void just to keep your phone screens working tomorrow. What happens to your worldview when you realize that space is not a quiet sanctuary, but an active, overcrowded frontier right over your head? The final summary page of the James Webb report proves that traditional models of galaxy isolation are completely broken and ready for the trash bin. It shows that we are living right on the edge of a massive stellar corridor that links our home galaxy directly to Andromeda through billions of stray suns. The ultimate question you are left to ponder is how long official science can keep pretending the space between galaxies is just empty dark air. You get up from your desk, walk over to your bedroom window, and look out into the cold night sky with a completely fresh set of eyes. The dark space hanging above your city is not a quiet void. It is a dense, high-energy highway filled with rogue stars and shifting magnetic fields. When you look up at the night sky tonight, you will be one of the very few people who understands what is really happening out there in the dark. You stand quietly by the glass, watching the horizon, while the rest of the world sleeps without a clue.